feel like a terrible reefing hobbyist, but I missed a birthday. Today I'm finally gonna give you an update on the 25-gallon Innovative Marine all-in-one. Let's check out the Llama's Lagoon. What's up, coral people? If you're new here, my name is Remy, and this is the Bahama Llama Coral YouTube channel. If you'd like to support the channel, please do by liking, subscribing, and hitting the bell notification so you're notified whenever I upload new videos. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear Llama's Lagoon. Happy birthday to you. The Llama's Lagoon is officially 1 year old as of May 3rd. And it's been requested several times to give an update on the Llama's Lagoon and go through all the new corals that have been added since I got the tank wet a year ago. I think I briefly talked about the lagoon a couple months ago, and it was kind of a combination video of like what the basement is like, and then a little bit of an update on the Llama's Lagoon as well. If you're curious as to what the basement in its entirety looks like, go ahead and click the link above. Specifically, I wanted to talk about each of the corals that are in this tank and the ups and downs that I've had over the past year. Let's dive right into some controversial stuff, because that's always fun, right? So this tank never actually went through the uglies, per se. After watching the BRS video with the creator of Vibrant, it kind of struck me. What if I do a maintenance dose of Vibrant with every water change? The original intention for this product, if you watch that video, is to keep tanks clean in between service calls. So he owned a service company, they would go around to different clients' tanks, and this would keep the nuisance algae away for that 2-week span in between those service calls. So I had this thought, I was like, you know what if I just start doing a very low maintenance dose every single time I do a water change? Why doesn't everybody use Vibrant all the time? Why aren't we always using some sort of bacteria to keep the algae down? Well, as they say, and by they, I mean wizards, magic always has a price. Vibrant is not cheap. Bulk Reef Supply carries it, and your local fish store may carry it, but it's pretty expensive for the amount that you get. So if you've got a larger system, it's not really a cost-effective option. Also, in my case, I've had a couple bouts of dinos and cyanobacteria. One of the side effects of Vibrant is low nutrients. By adding the bacteria, it consumes the nutrients in your tank, and if you don't catch it, your nitrates and your phosphates can go down to 0, which may seem good in theory, but you want some nitrates and you want some phosphate in your water because that's what helps your coral grow. So I take weekly tests and I add nitrates as needed. This seems to help a lot, actually. I use Neo Nitro from Brightwell. It's a fantastic product. Just make sure you dose by the directions on the back. And with anything that you're changing in your reef tank, whether that be nitrates, you're dosing something, whatever that is, make sure it's slow. Another Brightwell shout out, I've been using the Brightwell Aminos, and I've been dosing those in both of the tanks for about a month and a half. And I can't say that I've noticed any crazy differences in coral growth or coloration, but the corals seem to be healthy and thriving and fat and happy and all those good words. But other than that, I haven't really dosed anything else. So without further ado, let's go check out the tank and let's go through the corals and see how everything's doing. We'll start with the showpiece here in the center, this being the Indo Dragon Soul Torch from a local reefer here in town, and it is just awesome. Grows really, really fast too. I bought this at one head and it's already starting to split, so that's cool. Back here, some Florida Recordia. This is just a Lord colony that I got from the local fish store for pretty cheap. This is the Cali Kid Soul Suckers. I don't know if this is a true jawbreaker mushroom or not. You can't really see it, but there's some red splotches in there. And you can see over time, it kind of like got some of those red splotches. Hasn't really done a whole lot more than just a few red dots here and there, but it's still pretty young. This is one of my oldest shrooms right here. I got that from a Worldwide Corals live sale on Reef to Reef. They called it a Superman mushroom, but it's like a blue and it's a red kind of rhodactis mushroom there. I'm not really sure what this mushroom is called. It's a super pinkish reddish and really cool looking. This is a Fascination Favia, and you can see he's kind of growing up on the rock there. This is a Japanese green weeping willow. Very similar to the weeping willow, except the polyp stalks on this one are a lot more rigid. so they don't flow as much. They don't look like spaghetti in the water like the Weeping Willow leather does. This is a really cool mushroom that I got. You'll never believe what I paid for this. If Matt is watching right now, I got this from the local frag swap in the fall. It was $25. Beautiful, beautiful mushroom. Another mushroom over here, if the snail will get out of the way. This is from my buddy Tyler, and it's like a copper mushroom. It's like copperish, yellowish, but it's just kind of a cool looking shroom. All right, so let's get to some of these prized zoanthids in here right now. This is a spellbinder, this first one here. The second one is a black mamba. We've got an orange mall, I believe that's what that's called. The golden basket Grandmaster Krakatoa. You'll notice that that has been fragged. This is an OG snitch. And I just got these, the Jason Fox as cracks. They're still coloring up. They were pretty stressed when I got them. And we'll kind of make our way around the back here. This is the Fabia that I got from Ocean State Aquatics in one of the first videos that I did with them. Here's a Bizarro Cyphastria, finally growing onto the rock there. Japanese deep water toadstool. Shorter polyp stalks, but the green base is cool. I really like that. And then the green polyp stalks. It's really awesome. And then a frag of the Weeping Willow leather coral. That is a baby from that guy in there. Jason Fox Raja Rampage, growing up pretty nicely. Look at all those new eyes. Just an Iron Man shroom or some sort of orange shroom. I feel like these grow really fast and it's probably gonna take over the back. This shroom back here doesn't have a name. He moved back there. You'll see his brother here in a second. Another small Lord colony, just like your typical blue rim with orange center. Here's the brother of that mushroom that was back on the back wall there. Yellow / gold hammer that I got from my buddy Tyler, Inland_Reef. He also gave me this mushroom. We kind of are on a trading basis right now, so we just trade mushrooms and zoas and all that kind of stuff. These are the Reef News Network. On the right, the Reef News Network Gremlins. I get that with my trade with Jeremy from the Reef News Network. The yellow ones are really, really bright acid reflux. I've got several of these acid reflux frags, and these are by far the brightest and most colorful. Coming down here, these shrooms here, also another awesome find. Bought one of them for 20 bucks. Mardi Gras shrooms, and gave me a baby right off the bat. These are Psychosis Zoanthids or Pallies. Baby Grandmaster Crack. That's from the fragged mother over on the side there. And we're in the Zoa Garden now. These are Venom X. Nightmares. The famous Little Shop of Horrors. These are Golden Basket Rainbow Trolls. Oompa Loompas. One of my recent gets here. A very small Flaming Mohican. And I've been having some issues with these two colonies here. They are Sonic Flares and Money Shots. And they closed up a couple days ago and they're kind of looking a little weird. But I'll explain that later in the video here. A white zombie / salted agave / whatever morph these are. These are the Enchantress Gonipora. These are blue lagoons, which I feel like are super underrated in the zoanthid community. Petroglyphs. I think these are UFOs. Another one of these mushrooms. And this is one of my favorite pieces here. This is one of the biggest by far. It's the OSA torch that I got. I think it's an Australian torch. It doesn't have a name or anything, but it just has really dark stalks and like greenish yellow tips. Still need to do a little bit of organization here. It's very haphazardly just kind of put together right now as I collect each one of these pieces, but it's been fun. It's been fun to see this thing grow, and it's super colorful, and I think that's what I like most about it. So let's go through some of the issues that I've had with this tank, and it's been pretty minimal given that it's only a year old. There's a very small spaghetti worm population in this tank, and that's fine with me. Spaghetti worms, I feel like, are an ally as long as they're not just all over your glass and, you know, taking over in your sand and in your rock work. I think that it's not a bad thing to have them. Earlier we talked about dinos, we talked about cyano, both very treatable things. I would put those in the minor issues category. Now there is a mystery issue with some of my zoanthids. If there are any zoa experts watching, or maybe you've had this happen before and you know what's going on, I've done a bunch of research and I cannot find for the life of me what is affecting the zoanthids like this. So what happens is, like, say my hand is the polyp. Day one, the polyp will halfway close, and then the next day the whole thing will close up, and if you don't treat it, it will melt away. The treatment method that I have used that has worked so far is Furin 2. I found that if I catch it early, it may only need one dip, but a couple of frags have needed like 2 or 3 days in a row to fully recover. So that's kind of worked, I guess, in the past, but I still want an answer. I still want to know what it is. I thought it might be something bacterial because zoanthids are very susceptible to catching some bacterial infections. So I used a trick that a lot of zoanthid farmers use, which is treating the tank with ChemiClean. There were no ill effects from using the ChemiClean, but it really didn't seem to remedy this specific thing with the zoanthids because I've had it happen a couple times after that treatment. So if you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comments down below. That would be awesome. I would love to figure out what this is. Although there's been some issues, there's been a ton of successes. And this tank specifically has been one of my favorites so far that I've kept, and I think this is number 4. The zoas are fat and happy, the LPS and the Euphilia are doing fantastic. The mushrooms are multiplying, and I haven't needed to start dosing on this tank yet. I actually did try Alpha Reef, which is a great product, by the way. I used this for a couple weeks and just kind of added like 1 milliliter a day or something, and my alkalinity shot up to like 10.5. So obviously the corals aren't needing any extra dosing right now. I think the water changes are doing just fine right now. All in all, I love this tank so much. I feel like the livestock is kind of in a sweet spot right now. I've said it before and I definitely didn't stick to it, but I think I'm gonna let it grow out for a little bit. Yeah, I don't believe me either. We'll probably be adding more coral to this. As you're watching this video, I'm probably shopping for corals online. When you get a chance, do me a favor, find Scott Crow on Facebook or the osa.media page on Instagram and shoot them a message. Say, hey, Remy from Bahama Llama Coral sent me. Congratulations on the new store. The OSA Superstore is open. I am 100% sure they did not want to open during a pandemic, but you gotta do what you gotta do, and hopefully, as this was just a soft opening, they'll have a grand opening here and they'll invite a bunch of people out. Maybe, fingers crossed, that's when I can go. I've never seen a crew work so hard in my life, just kind of following the adventure on social media. These guys were up at 11 o'clock at night and super early in the morning putting this thing together, moving tanks. I moved just this one tank from Chicago when we moved and was tired that day. Just one tank. And they have moved hundreds of tanks. Go check out the new photos and the videos of the store. Congratulations, Scott. What an awesome accomplishment. This little empire that you've built is growing, and I'm really, really proud of you. If you like the channel, go ahead and like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification so you're notified whenever I upload new videos. Next week, we're gonna talk about PAR. I'm gonna get my friend Jim or Telegram on YouTube, and we're gonna go back and forth and we're gonna talk about how to properly get PAR readings in your tank. I was able to get this from our local reef club. We have this available for rent, and a lot of reef clubs have higher priced items that you can rent, so if you haven't checked with your reef club, you can do that. But we're gonna get into PAR next week, and finally gonna solve the mystery of this Walt Disney acro that I have. A couple colonies, actually, of the Walt Disney acro that are just straight green. I think it has to do with light. So I don't know about you, but I've been watching a lot of movies lately with the stay-at-home order. Now I'm going back into work, but while I was broadcasting from home, my wife and I were watching a ton of movies, and I went back to my childhood to watch a movie called Short Circuit, and I got this It's a drawing of Johnny 5. Isn't this like the coolest thing? Is anybody else a fan of Short Circuit? I particularly like Short Circuit 2 better, which is one of those like rare occasions when I like a sequel better than the original. If you're going back to work this week or next or in the next couple weeks, make sure to be safe when you're out there, and we'll see you back here next week for another video. Here's some more binge-worthy content. If you are bored right now and you want some more of that, go ahead and click on these videos. And if you haven't yet, subscribe. So many plugs. All right.